great to see you here again. My name is Luc de Kuster, founder of the Kuster Academy. And in this new video, I will look at the introduction to Agile project management. And the specific topic in this video is why were Agile methods developed? And we will look at the Agile incremental approach. But before we continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Let's have a look. Now, what we saw at a certain moment, that the number of IT projects is increasing after the Second World War. More and more IT projects were planned, executed, and there were a lot of failures. Let's look at the Turing computer that was used to crack the Enigma code. If you see the movie, The Imitation Game, you can see that Turing, instead of starting to work like all the others on the decoding, he created a machine to crack the Enigma code, and he succeeded. Now, classic project management did not provide expected results when we are going to look at IT projects. IT projects are very complicated, may lead to additional challenges, and in fact, in 1970, Winston W. Royce described a model which was later referred to as the Waterfall model, because it looks like a waterfall. Now, the iterative model that Royce originally developed was transformed in the sequential model we still know today, the waterfall model. When we look at the original waterfall model, you see that there are a lot of iterations going through it. And we go through all these cycles, and at the left-hand side, you see all the different loops and recurrences that have been identified, while on the right-hand side, you see the different steps that look like the waterfall project management methodology. Now, when we look at waterfall method, or the waterfall method, is basically a hierarchical method that started from clear objectives and a well-defined scope. The complexity, however, of the IT projects led to the decomposition of the software into comprehensible parts of programming and procedures that were tested on themselves without verification of the fact that they would work properly when assembled. Although all these activities have been individually tested, they were only assembled into the final program at the end. Unfortunately, in many cases, the assembled system or subsystems would not work properly and create large delays and cost overruns. There was a need for another way. Now, the waterfall method typically provides great schedules and charts with timings and costs. But in many cases, these only represent prognosis, and typically in reality, it would never work the way it was planned. But people like the planning, they see a clear plan, and it's a great way to deal with a project. The planning provides a certainty for the people, but finally, when you look at the project itself, the end result was, in many cases, catastrophic. Projects took years to finish, and by the time they were finished, they were either obsolete or over budget and late. Using waterfall has created many losses and failed projects in the IT industry and even in other industries. Until people started to look at projects in a different way, they started to understand that the classical approach of waterfall was not the way to go with projects, and they started to identify different ways. And those different ways are in fact related to what we call Agile. And Agile has an incremental, iterative approach. We know that the in-depth planning did not work, so basically those more flexible methods were developed, and they are commonly referred to today as Agile. The incremental approach increases flexibility to changing requirements and feedback from users. When we look at the Agile development, we have first the stage where we define the requirements. Then we create a plan. Based on the plan, there is a design. Then there is a development stage where we develop a part of the software. We release that part of the software, so we created something that is working. And basically, we track and monitor what is happening. And this cycle continues until the project is completed. The cycle, and always going through the same cycle, creates a method that gives the flexibility, and we can adjust the project plan on the go without all the planning, all the estimations that we did before. We just do this in an incremental way, going through these 6 steps every time we have developed a partial release of the product. So that's the first thing, why we have Agile, why Waterfall doesn't work, and the Agile development creates that incremental, iterative approach that provides success to projects in IT. So that was it for the first video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye bye.